Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Business Housing Zoning Committee for January 7, 2024. I'm Jamal Osman, and I'm the chair of this committee. Before we begin the meeting, I want to offer a friendly reminder to all members, staff, and public that this meeting are broadcasted live to enable greater public participation. This broadcast includes real-time captioning as further method to increase the accessibility of our proceeding to the community. Therefore, all speakers need to be mindful of the rate of their speech so that our captioners can fully capture and transcribe all comments for the broadcast. We ask all speakers to moderate their speed and clarity of their comment. Colleagues, I would like to note that our agenda is very full today, and we need to adjourn no later than 4 p.m. We will be using speaker management for this meeting, so please make sure you are signed in so you can participate in discussion. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll so we can verify a quorum.
Councilmember Rainville is absent. Councilmember Cashman.
Present.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Present.
Councilmember Chowdhury is absent. Vice Chair Ellison.
Here.
Chair Osman.
Present.
There are 4 members present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. Consent agenda is 16 through 29 are consent agenda. Item 16 is 4 liquor license approvals. It's all right. Item 17 is 104 liquor license renewals. Item 18 is 5 gambling license approvals. Item 19 is 21 gambling license renewals. Item 20 is approving 6 Minneapolis Art Commission appointments. Item 21 is approving Heritage Preservation Commission appointments. Item 22 is approving an emergency solution grant recommendations. Item 23 is authorizing a Great Street Gap loan to Mayday Cafe. Item 24 is a passage of resolution approving a financial assistance for HCHRA. Item 25 is authorizing a land sale for 1828 DuPont Avenue North. Item 26 is referring to staff the use of algorithm in rental rates ordinance. Item 27 is referring to staff the administration enforcement procedure ordinance. Item 28 is setting a public hearing for January 21st, 2025 to consider 3 land sale to the Minneapolis Park Recreation Board for a community garden pilot program. Lastly, item 29 is setting a public hearing for January 21st, 2025 to consider 2 zoning board of adjustment appointments. Would anyone like to pull any of these items or discussion? Seeing none, I will approve all consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. We have a public hearing for an application from Maya Lindo, a Mexican restaurant and bar for an on-sale liquor with Sunday sales, limited entertainment at 2 a.m. I'll ask Beth Domingos from Business License to give us that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Osman and committee members. I am Licensed Inspector Beth Dominguez. I'm presenting an application from Mi Lindo, Guanajuato, LLC, doing business as Mi Lindo, Guanajuato Mexican Restaurant and Bar, located at 205 Lake Street East in Ward 9. The applicant is requesting an on-sale liquor, limited entertainment with Sunday sales, and 2 a.m. license. They have been in business since 2021, previously located at 311 Lake Street East, serving authentic Mexican cuisine, offering karaoke Friday through Sunday with seating for 40 people and no outdoor area. The hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. On December 17th, public hearing notices were sent to property owners within 600 feet of the premises. Notices were also sent to the Cando Neighborhood Association, Lake Street Council Business Association, and Councilmember Chavez. We have received no responses from the community. The Licenses and Consumer Services Division recommends approval of an on-sale liquor limited entertainment with Sunday sales and 2 a.m. license. This concludes my presentation, and I will stand for any comments.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing. Are there anyone who would like to speak on this item? Seeing no one to speak, I'll close the public hearing. And are there any questions from committee members? Seeing none, I will approve. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I see you now. Yes, Councilmember Jenkins. My apologies.
Thank you, Chair Osmond. I'm just curious, all the documents say that this restaurant is in Ward 8, but you talked about Ward 9. Is it? And I think 205 West Lake Street is Ward 8.
East
Depends
Lakes-
on what, East Lake
East
Street, yeah.
Yeah, it's East Lake.
Right, so east of Nicollet.
205 East Lake Street. It's,
It depends on which side of the street, I guess. Is it
it's on the east side of.
north side or the
35.
west side?
Oh, it's on the south side of Lake Street.
So it's Ward 8, but it's all good. Hopefully, it's a great restaurant. They just moved, right?
Yeah, they moved from 311 to 205.
Okay.
Councilmember Jenkins, would you like to make a motion?
I would move that we grant this liquor license.
Okay. With that motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Our next item is a public hearing for application from Lowry Hand Stop for an extended hours of operation and license. Manager Amy Lingo, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Osmond and committee members. I'm Amy Lingo, Manager for Licenses and Consumer Services, and I'm presenting an application from A&R Fuel, DBA as Lowry Handy Stop, located at 700 Lowry Avenue Northeast in Ward 1. The current licenses that exist now are the gasoline filling station, 3-2 beer, tobacco, and grocery store. The applicant is requesting an extended hours license. Lowry Handy Stop has been operating at this location since 2007. It recently came to the attention of business licensing and the owner that this establishment was not covered by a conditional use permit like the majority of gas stations were at that time. The hours of operation are 24 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. The convenience store is closed for public entry from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. every day, and sales are to be made through a window. There are no changes to the proposed existing business model. This is just a data upkeep. On December 17th, public hearing notices were sent to property owners within 300 feet within the premises. Notices were also sent to the Holland Neighborhood Association, the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce, and Council President Payne. We have received 12 responses from the community opposed with concerns regarding crime, people gathering, and loud music. A review of 311 911 calls for the last couple of years show that there have been 90 calls altogether. 52 were resolved as A-OK or all quiet. 14 were reports for one singular incident. The 2nd Police Precinct Inspector has reviewed and approved the security plan for and Licenses and Consumer Service Division recommends approval of an extended hours license for the Lowry Handy Stop. This concludes my presentation at this time, and I'll stand for any comments or questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. We'll have hopefully questions after the public hearing. Now I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing, and the first person here is Danny, the owner. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Danny Rohana. I've been operating over there at the Handy Stop, 700 Lowry Avenue Northeast since December 2007. The store been in the neighborhood for probably since the 70s, been built up. I'm the 3rd owner, always been 24/7. And we're just gonna try to keep it this way so we can service the neighbors and the community over there. I appreciate your help on that, and if there's any concern, let me know, we can work on it.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you.
your testimony. Next person is Malachi Toppin. Welcome.
Thank you. All right, thanks, council members. I really appreciate this opportunity to solicit public opinions on this matter. I'm a resident of the First Ward of Northeast. I live a half a block away from the Handy Stop and have for about 8 years. I really value longstanding local businesses in our community, and I really want all of them to succeed. This includes Handy Stop. I go there often for gas and milk, but it's been a frustrating neighbor. Everyone who lives by Handy Stop has had to deal with incidents of open drug use, violent crime, reckless driving, and just mountains of litter from Handy Stop customers. I've had a stray bullet go through a wall of our home from an incident at the Handy Stop. I'm not the only neighbor who's had to deal with these things. When I saw the notice for extending their hours, I was a little shocked that they didn't already have a license for that. I'm a little confused as to what their prior license is and what they've been operating as. I'm a little frustrated also that it's hard to find like those business licenses. I couldn't find like an open data portal or anything like that listing those. I don't know if they're available. If they're not, I think that's something that would be really useful. Yeah, I think we need more time to talk about these issues with the owner. I really think this is a valuable opportunity to increase the dialogue between the community and the owner of Handy Stop. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Next person is Anelia.
Hi, thank you, council members, committee members, and other community members. Thanks for taking the time to hear from me today. My name is Anelia Lucio, and I live with my partner and our dogs on 24th and Monroe. We're a block from the Handy Stop in Northeast Holland neighborhood. My family has really deep roots in this neighborhood. Next door to me was my paternal grandfather's grocery store, and it later became my uncle's in the neighborhood. The Ukrainian gift shop was my family's store that started in our family's living room 77 years ago, was later on Central and Lowry, was above Kramarchik's, and now we're still in Northeast, right by the Salvation Army. My family was really a part of building Northeast. My family all went to Edison High, that's a block away, and I think it's a large reason that the businesses like Handy Stop are able to still be in this neighborhood today. I first lived in the home in the early 2000s and have moved back in early COVID times, and as far as I know, this business has always been 24 hours a day. Just finding out now that these have not been its legal operating hours. The notice requesting the extension to 24-hour operations really surprised us because they, I guess, have been ignoring these regulations. While we really appreciate the convenience, it's coming at a cost to our neighborhood. It sells items that no residential neighborhood or high school area needs, like nitrous oxide canisters, smoking paraphernalia, digital scales, and masks that are designated or designed to obscure one's identity. It attracts noise, litter, and dangerously high speeds of traffic from their parking lot. Places a strain on public resources. Our second precinct has repeatedly responded to complaints or criminal incidents there, demanding significant time and taxpayer money. Nearly all of these take place outside of the legal operating hours, as the data that the MPD has clearly shown. Sorry, am I done?
Run out of time, but please wrap it up.
I'll be really quick. Most recently, a woman was shot while she was making a purchase at the Handy Stop around 4 a.m., resulting in a triple shooting. That same morning, we discovered a bullet hole in her porch door, which later was confirmed to be from that shooting. The bullet entered the porch and continued to ricochet off the exterior wall of my home office. This is not about crime statistics necessarily, it's personal for us neighbors. We've been good neighbors to the Handy Stop, and we really would like them to be good neighbors to us. We'd be happy to speak with the owners, and we want to continue the dialogue, but we respectfully request that you deny these extended hours and really enforce the current legal operating hours of 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person is Niels.
You got it.
Yes, come on in.
Hi there, and again, I'm Nils Brenham. Thank you again for taking time to listen to this important matter. I'm going to reiterate kind of the same things in a really brief manner. The handy step is very convenient, but in the last few years, I've been there for 10 years with my girlfriend and I. We live on 2412 Monroe, so we're kitty corner. So we looked up some data. We found out that in the last 3 years, there's been 323 total incidents called. 153 of those which have happened in the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m., including 6 shootings, 3 stabbings, tons of noise disturbances and whatnot. And it just kind of adds to the other comments from before. So I would really advise this council to think long and hard about having a 24-hour stop when we have... A lot has happened since the George Floyd days. We have a less of a police, presence. We can continue to call these incidents, in, but really nothing good happens, if you haven't heard it already, from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Are there anyone who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the item. I'll close the public hearing, and I'd like to call Manager Amy Lingo to answer some questions. I have some questions. And colleagues, if you have any questions, please sign up for speaker management. The question is of the license history came up. Can you briefly talk about a little bit about what is the current license they have and what was previous? Has there been any 24 hours license before? And also, has there been any opportunity for neighbors and the owners to get together to talk about some of the challenges neighbors are complaining?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Osman. So this license has been in existence since 2007. They currently have the gas station, tobacco, grocery store, 3-2 beer license. In 2007, any business that wished to operate beyond the hours set by zoning went through the the conditional use permit process. 2011, that changed to an extended hours license process. There are many businesses and locations that have CUPs and or deemed to have an existing CUP, including most gas stations prior to 2007. I can't answer to you why it didn't have either one of those. 2007, I was not in business licensing, so why that got missed, I am unaware. But it was one of those situations where most gas stations have some sort of CUP already, so the only new ones are getting the extended hours. It came to our attention this year that they did not have that use, so we are in the process of right-sizing them to be able to get them properly licensed. So they were operating under the same process as the majority of gas stations in the city. When it came to our attention that they had neither the extended hours license or the conditional use permit, we worked with the owner to get them right-sized.
Right.
As far as working with the community, I'm not aware if the business has had any continuing conversation. I have worked with the owner in many years of my experience with the city, and I have found him to be responsive. So I did just have a conversation with him where he is willing to meet with the community to work with some of the issues. I do know that he has also been working closely with the MPD with the area.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll call Council Member Cashman.
Thank you, Chair Osman, and thank you, Manager Lingo. So the statistics that you provided about 911 calls to this, can you remind me within which time frame that analysis was done?
I believe that was done within the last 2 years. 1 year.
1 year, and what were the numbers on that?
90 calls altogether. 52 were resolved as A-OK or all quiet, and 14 were for one incident. So there was a shooting nearby. We do not have a proof that it was necessarily at the fault of the business, but it was at that location.
Is that when you are doing analyses of different gas stations like this and convenience stores, does that seem like a regular amount of calls, or does that seem exorbitant? Like, what's your analysis of that data?
Given the area, through the chair, given the area and the commercial corridor that it is not uncommon to see calls of that number. This is at the Central and Lowry, so it is quite the major thoroughfare. There are bus stops. It is a high transit kind of a modal area, and so in areas that kind of mirror that, it's not uncommon to have a high rate of calls. And a lot of times, calls will be attributed to the nearest business address, whether or not it is actually associated to that address.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask, because I know one of the last speaker actually said, nothing good happens between midnight and 5 a.m. And my understanding here is that time frame is not. Is that possible to do extended hours until midnight instead of the regular 10 p.m.? Or what are the different options in terms of extended hours licenses that we have?
Chair Osman, Councilmember Cashman, that's a good question. The extended hours application can be for any hours beyond what is listed for the zoning for that, whether it's 1 minute or 7 hours.
Okay, so it might be possible to find a compromise here, that it doesn't have to be 24/7 open, but it could have hours that go beyond the 10 p.m. Regular closure.
Chair Osman, Councilmember Cashman, that is correct. There is possibility, but would state that even if just the pumps were open for 24 hours, which is a very consistent practice for gas stations, that still would require a license for that use. That counts as being open. So if there is to be accessible gas for those pumps, it would need to be further, but yes, there is the opportunity for discussion.
Okay, I see other council members wanting to speak on this. I just really want to honor the neighbors and their concerns here, and everyone on this committee knows that I've struggled with gas stations in my ward and the safety concerns and the neighbors' concerns, and I think that there's room for coming to agreements between owners who are willing and looking for ways to build relationships with their neighbors to come to more agreements on further security measures, further cleanup measures, et cetera. So I want to, be a steward of that in this committee as well, and curious to hear what my other colleagues think.
Thank you, Councilmember Cashman. I'll recognize Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osman and Ms. Lingo. I'm just curious, what's the average time of gas? I know most of the gas stations in Ward 8 close at 10 p.m. Is there an average time for gas stations throughout the city?
Chair Osman, Councilmember Jenkins, I do not have the answer to that question. I can do a study and find out, but I don't have that answer on hand.
Thank you.
I'll recognize Councilmember Ellison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I feel like there's a potential pathway forward for us here that isn't just voting, that is for us to continue this one item. I usually hesitate to offer that unless the business owner has proven that he's willing to engage, he or she is willing to engage with the community. It seems like that is accessible to us here. It seems like there's willing parties here. I know that, I think the pump should be accessible 24/7. I get that, sometimes folks are in a situation where they need gas at 1 a.m. I don't know why, but I don't want people to be stranded in various parts of the city. And so, but I do also want to be responsive to the neighbors and understanding that, there's needs. You live there. That's your home's right there. And so you need to know that you've got a business owner that's willing to take your concerns seriously. So I'm going to move to continue this item, which means that we're not going to take this item up right this second. We're not going to vote it down. We're not going to vote it up, but to the next meeting, so that to give some time, about 2 weeks, for the business owner to coordinate a meeting. And if you need support from the committee or the council member of your area to help connect you with some of the folks in the room, or even I would encourage you to grab numbers on your way out, so that you can coordinate with some of the neighbors here. I think it would be good just to, in the spirit of being a good neighbor, but also with respect to wanting to put you in the best position possible to run your business the way that you see fit. I think a meeting between you and neighbors would be good. So I'm going to move to continue the item 1 cycle. Happy to take any to hear from my colleagues on that motion as well.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Ellison. I agree. I think that is a sound motion. And are there any other council members? Oh, Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair. I will definitely second the motion to continue the item, but I do want to hear, or at least see a nod of commitment from the business owner to be engaging in these conversations. Thank you so much. I mean, we, in the case of the Speedway and Loring Park, were able to add some further conditions to the business license, and I think that's what I hope would come out of a meeting between you and some neighbors, is how can we get to a place where, like Councilmember Ellison was saying, you could maybe have the pumps 24/7 and renegotiate on some of the hours of the interior of the store, some of the sale of some of those items that nitrous oxide, for example, and other paraphernalia, maybe that could be removed from the store. So I think that there's some room for compromise here with neighbors. So I'll support that motion.
Thank you. And then one last thing I'll say just for neighbors, I think, I don't know the situation here, but sometimes there are businesses that talk to one another and they operate in ways that aren't necessarily bad faith. They say, oh, they do it like this over there, so I'm going to do it like that over here. And staff then find things that are out of compliance and work with those businesses to get them into compliance. And so I think when it just occurred to me, so there were some questions about why have they not been operating this way? I don't know the real answer, but I would say slow down in assuming bad faith. Ask them why, right? There might be a reason that they were operating that way and they thought they could, but they were mistaken. It might be sort of a good faith error, but I just want to encourage the neighbors that as you think about engaging with in a conversation with the business owner, be more curious than accusatory. And to the business owner, these are your neighbors. I hope you're willing to engage with them in good faith as well. So that's all.
All right. Thank you so much. With that motion to continue the item for next cycle, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it and the motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing for application from Abyssinia Cultural Center for two types of license. First is for rental hall license, and the second is for extended hours operation. I'll ask Mohammed Ismail from Business License to give us that presentation. Welcome, Mohammed.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Osman and committee members. I'm Mohammed Ismail, Lead License Inspector. I'm presenting today an application from Abyssinian Cultural Center owned by IBYS LLC. The business is located 322 West Lake Street in Ward 10. The applicant is requesting a rental hall and extended hours license. The Abyssinian Cultural Center will host private events such as birthdays, weddings, and corporate events. The hours of operations for the center will be Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. 20 notices were sent to the property owners within 300 feet of the premises, and Whittier Alliance and council member Chuck Ty. We have not received any responses from the community for the new license. There are no operating conditions. Licenses and Consumer Service Division recommends approval for the rental hall and extended hours license. This concludes my presentation. At this time, I will stand for any comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Now I will proceed to open the public hearing first and see if there's any speakers listed. Yes, I see the first one sign up is Ape. Welcome.
Thank you all. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abe Demaj, and I'm here on behalf of Abyssinia Event Center. Our center serves as a valid hub for the community events and cultural celebration and gathering that brings people together. We're requesting approval for the rental license and extended hours for operation to better serve the community that is growing with the diverse community. And extended our hours would allow us to accommodate a broader range of events and ensure that our facility remains a valuable resources in the area. So like Mohammed Ismail mentioned, we have requests for weddings, quinceañeras, community engagement, and corporate event as well. So we're excited about this new venture and just want the city to cooperate with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there anyone who would like to speak? See none, I'll close the public hearing, and I wanted to make a comment on this. I see, I'm sorry. I just saw that Councilmember Cashman is here and also Jenkins. But my comment is that Abyssinia Center, it's a wonderful space for the community. I have been there myself. It offers opportunity for diverse community that live in the area to come and celebrate and host their weddings. I attended a couple of events there, and I just want to talk to and say thank you for doing business in City of Minneapolis and offering those. So With that, I actually will hold my motion until other council members speak. Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair. Question about the current hours and also what else is in the building, if anything else, other than the cultural center?
Through the chair, Councilor Cashman, the hours, it is, I believe, the one that is zoned right now, it is 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, 11 p.m. So they're asking extended hours until 2 a.m.
And the extension to 2 a.m. would be for all days of the week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
And anything else in the building other than the cultural center?
I believe there is office spaces in the second floor, and then the first floor there is a clinic, I believe, and I think the owner can attest to that too. But there is some office spaces. The rental hall will be in the third floor.
Okay.
Where they have huge elevators.
Thank you. I guess I was curious if there were residential spaces in the
No.
building. That would be my only, hold up against this extended hours application. So it sounds like it's all like business hours,
I believe so.
9 to
I
5 kind of
think-
operations that are in there as well. So they wouldn't be impacted by extended hours. Happy to move approval of this item.
Thank you. Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osmond. My question was, what are the extended hours, which has been answered. I have been to Abyssinia Cultural Center. It's a great space. It's a lot of other services offered in the building too, but I think, the extended hours would be beneficial to the community as well as to the business, so I would support this motion.
All right, thank you so much. With the motion from Councilmember Cashman to approve this item forward, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. All right, next item we have is a public hearing for an application from Game Time Sports Bar and Arcade for an on-sale liquor, no live entertainment with Sunday sales. I'll ask Beth Dominguez for a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Osman and committee members. I am Licensed Inspector Beth Dominguez. I'm presenting an application from Game Time Sports LLC, doing business as Game Time Sports Bar and Arcade, located at 920 Lake Street East in Ward 9. The applicant is requesting an on-sale liquor, no live entertainment with Sunday sales. Game Time intends to provide a sports bar atmosphere for families and sports lovers that includes a restaurant with sports-oriented arcade games and alcohol. The hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. They have space for 68 seats. There is no outdoor area. On December 24th, public hearing notices were sent to property owners within 600 feet of the premises. Notices were also sent to the Midtown Phillips Neighborhood Association, the Lake Street Council Business Association, and Councilmember Chavez. We have received no responses from the community. The License and Consumer Services Division recommends approval of an on-sale liquor, no live entertainment with Sunday sales license for Game Time Sports Bar and Arcade. This concludes my presentation. I stand for comments.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing first, and first person that sign up is Jose Thurmert.
Hosey.
Jose, welcome.
Hi, how you doing, Council? Good afternoon. Excuse me. Yeah, so I appreciate the time to come in today and speak about Game Time Sports. My name is Hosey Thurman. I'm an entrepreneur in the area. I own another company that's also located inside the Midtown Global Market. So this is inside the Midtown Global Market. And I think we just really came up with this idea, sort of taking some shuttered space and some stuff that has really been kind of falling out after the wake of George Floyd and certain things that have happened in the community, and trying to build a space that's safe and inclusive for people to watch sports. We feel like it's kind of cross-cultural, especially in the area. I went to South High School, played sports, and it kind of is cross borders. It provides space and opportunity for everyone, whatever it be soccer, basketball, football, whatever it is, and we're kind of creating that space within the Midtown Global Market. So our arcade aspect is outside of the bar, also located inside the Midtown Global Market for families, sports lovers to come and play sports sort of themed games, some basketball, football, things of that nature, along with our bar.
All right, thank you so much for your testimony. Are there any other speakers who would like to speak? See none, I'll close the public hearing and call Councilmember Andrew Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osmond. I had a couple of questions for the owner, entrepreneur, Jose, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your other business at the Global Market?
Slice Brothers Pizza.
Okay, all right. So you have Slice Brothers, they're all around town, right?
Yeah, we have a few locations. We're located in Northeast Minneapolis, 519 East Hennepin, and also in the Midtown Global Market in Minneapolis.
Okay. You have a store in St. Paul, too?
We do, on University and Dale.
Awesome. And then, so I would suspect you'll be serving pizza at the sports bar.
We will serve some, not exactly sliced. It is applicable that you can get it while you're at the bar, along with Midtown. This is in collaboration with Midtown. You can eat at any of the restaurants. So we will have some flatbreads, but not particular pizza. But you can definitely get sliced and bring it over as well.
And then, where is it located inside the?
So it's taken over the old East Lake Brewery.
Got it.
So right
That's
on
what I
the
thought,
corner where East Lake Brewery was, we took over that space and refurbished it.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, I guess that concludes my questions. A lot of sporting events go past 11 p.m. I'm just curious.
Yeah, some of them do. I think there's maybe some extenuating circumstance. Maybe like a West Coast game can a little bit go over, but we particularly don't see them really going past 11 when most starting at like 7 to 8. And we feel like just for the area, Midtown Global Market, we're really like sports oriented, not going to be going to too much late night activity. So we don't see any events pretty much going past them.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I'll call Councilmember Ellison.
I'm happy to move approval of this item.
All right, with that motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the item is approved. Okay. All right, we continue on the public hearing. Next, we have a public hearing for application from Awami for on-sale liquor and no live entertainment. I'll ask Amy Lingo for that presentation.
Thank you, Chair Osmond and committee members. Once again, I am Amy Lingo, Manager for Licenses and Consumer Services, and I'm presenting an application for Ghost Dancer LLC, doing business as Awami. The business is located at 425 West River Parkway, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55401 in Ward 3. This license is an upgrade requesting an on-sale liquor license with no live entertainment and Sunday sales. The location currently holds an on-sale wine and strong beer with limited entertainment. Awami is an indigenous restaurant that operates Minneapolis Park and Recreation's Waterworks building and the surrounding outdoor grounds overlooking St. Anthony Falls and the Stone Arch Bridge. The hours of operation will remain the same, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. There have been no significant 311 or police calls that can be attributable to the business. On December 16th, 2024, public hearing notices were sent to property owners within 450 feet of the premises, as well as the Downtown Minneapolis Neighborhood Association, the Warehouse District Business Association, and Councilmember Rainville. We have received 2 responses, both in favor. The Licenses and Consumer Services Division recommends approval of the upgrade to on-sale liquor license with no live entertainment and Sunday sales. This concludes my presentation, and I'll stand for any comments or questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Now I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing and call Sean Sherman. Welcome.
Hello, Hamatakape Buju. My name is Sean. So we're just excited for this upgrade. We've been managing Awamini since July of 21. It's part of our nonprofit NATIVS, North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems. We're very intentional about everything we do there. We're going to have a very short list. The full liquor license is really for our events program, but we've been leaders with the Indigenous food movement, not only here locally and regionally, but nationwide. And we're just excited to be able to have this offering to kind of do what we do, which is focusing focusing on indigenous and BIPOC producers of these, of the pieces that we buy, and just kind of showcasing a new way of looking at basically everything we do in the food service operation. So we're just excited for this upgrade, and if you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you so much for that, for your testimony. Next, are there anyone else who would like to speak? See none, I'll close the public hearing and recognize Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair Osman. Just a quick question for you, Sean. I'm just curious why, since 2021, you haven't pursued this license, why you started with the beer and wine sales, and what brought you to the decision of wanting to upgrade here?
We were trepidatious in the very beginning, just because being a Native organization, we were unsure of even having beer and wine, but it was part of our license with the park board operations anyway. And because we've had such a really great response to our beer and wine program, which featured only BIPOC producers, finding lots of Native wine producers on the West Coast in California, and Mexican producers and Maori producers and South African producers, and that we wanted to continue that and grow that, and we felt that we were in a safe place to actually showcase what we could do with spirits, and doing kind of a decolonized vision of a small cocktail list for the offerings, because we've been a very popular restaurant. We've been sold out every night since we opened in July of 21. We won Best New Restaurant in America by the James Beard Foundation when we first opened. So it just makes sense for us to continue to be the leaders and showcase how we operate a full service model with Indigenous foods and health focused. And this will just kind of help us upgrade basically to be that leader.
Right. Great. Well, thanks. Is there any one cocktail that you're especially excited about showcasing on your menu?
Oh, we've been playing around with a few ideas. So yeah, we are pretty excited, and we know we use a lot of wild herbs from Minnesota particularly. So like our entire tea list already has a lot of like tree species and conifers and just wild plants that we see. So we're just going to kind of have like a wild crafted cocktail list. And we're just excited to showcase true flavors of Minnesota through that list, and just something different, you know?
Great. Thanks for representing Minnesota cuisine. Happy to move approval of this item.
All right, next I'll recognize Councilmember Andrea Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osman. I just want to say, I had it on. I just want to say congratulations, Sean, on all the success that you guys have been having. I love seeing Awamni showing up on national lists and national television shows, etc. And I love coming there because of your non-alcoholic cocktail list, and I hope you continue that service. You know, I know it's tough to make it in the restaurant business without alcohol, but you guys have been doing such a great job at it. But this will add more variety to your offerings, and so looking forward to trying to get that coveted table again. Good luck.
Councilmember Allison.
Happy to support this. Obviously going to support the motion, and just wanted to just note for everybody in the room, it's kind of a great way to start off the year. We've got sliced pizza coming in. We've got we've got you, Sean, and Awamni here. Expanding your service and everything. So pretty cool to start the year off here with seeing like Black-owned businesses and our local food celebrity folks in the room with us. So thank you for all that you do in the city of Minneapolis.
Right. Seeing none, I will. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing for passage of ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 64 of the City Code of Ordinance related to animal control. I'll recognize Anthony Schmidl from Regulatory Services for a brief presentation. Welcome, Anthony.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Osman, committee members. I'm Director Shundle with Minneapolis Animal Care and Control. I'm here today to introduce an ordinance amendment to remove outdated language in Title 4, Chapter 64 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances that relates to animal care and control, care and treatment of animals. As you can see in the highlighted section, we're removing language that refers to service animals as certified, along with anything that identifies what type of disability a person with a service animal has. This is to eliminate any confusion about the need for a service animal to be certified, service animals under the American with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, do not need to be certified or documented in any way. The goal of this is, as mentioned, service animals do not need to be certified under federal law, so we're asking this wording be removed to be as precise as possible, ensure current ordinance language meets the ADA requirements, and to ensure the ordinance does not adversely affect residents and visitors with disabilities who have an accompanying service animal. With that, I'd like to thank Councilmember Vita for sponsoring this ordinance amendment, which is now going to allow us to get our animal care and control ordinance into compliance with federal law. And thank you, Chair Osmond and committee members. This concludes my presentation. With that, I'll stand for any comments or questions.
Thank you so much. I'll proceed to open the public hearing and see if there's anyone else who would like to speak. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and recognize Councilmember Allison.
Thank you. I feel like every time animal control's in front of us, it's always just like a model of good governance. And so just thank you for that. And I'm, of course, thank you for the work and getting us into federal compliance. That's always vitally important. And with that, I'm happy to move approval of the ordinance.
Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you so much, Chair Osmond. Just a quick question. Did you find any other ordinances in your review that had this language, or how did you come across this? What was the process for noticing this discrepancy?
Yeah. Through the chair, thank you, Councilmember Cashman. Great question. This ordinance amendment was preemptive. Nobody was impacted by this to our knowledge. It came from our colleagues in NCR through our specialists with the ADAs, and it was brought to our attention and the amendment to make to comply with federal law. And to our knowledge, this is after a thorough review, this is the only specific piece in our ordinance that uses the word certified.
Great. Thank you so much for that work and, cross-departmental collaboration. It's great to hear that it's, proactive. It wasn't that anyone was impacted and we have to react to that. We're actually, handling it before anything comes up. Happy to second the motion to approve.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osmond. I'm just curious, and I certainly support this, and it brings us into compliance with federal ADA regulations, etc. But just so you can just call your pet a service animal? I mean, how does that work, I guess?
Yeah. Through the chair, thank you, Councilmember Jenkins. Good question. Yeah, under the ADA, there are only 2 questions you can actually ask somebody that says their animal is a service animal, and those 2 questions are, is the animal a service animal because of a disability? Mm-hmm. And then what work or task has the dog been trained to do? And those are, under law, the only questions we can ask somebody.
So long as your pet is trained to do some service related to a disability, they are a service animal.
That's correct, yeah. And there's actually no certification or process or anything like that people need to go through to get that.
Thank you. I mean, I think that's great information for the public to understand as well. So appreciate it.
Thanks.
My comments is thank you so much for all you do, and I had opportunity before the end of the year to visit animal control. I want to thank the volunteers and your staff commitment for creating that space for the animals, and just encourage people to really check it out, animal control in City of Minneapolis. With that motion for approval, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to continue to roll. Next, we have a public hearing for an application for interim use permit to establish vehicle fleet-oriented service use on the property located at 3130 California Street Northeast. I'll ask Aaron Hanurer from CBET to give us a presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair Osmond and committee members. 3130 California Street in Northeast is the proposal is to allow that interim use permit for a vehicle fleet-oriented service use or a bus storage facility for a metropolitan transportation network. Requesting a 5-year approval for this interim use permit. The subject site near the city's northern border. The project site and surrounding area is primarily industrial. This subject site is zoned PR2 along with the surrounding properties. Rail corridor to the east, and the nearest residential property is over 300 feet to the south. MTN's business plan is to operate 69 school buses at this location, potential to expand to 80 buses, and with the site plan that they're showing with this interim use permit, has 192 surface spaces for buses and vehicles for the entire 7-acre site. The maximum surface parking allowance in the city per the zoning code is 100 spaces. If the interim use permit is approved, the intentions by the applicant in the next 5 years, the maximum time allowed for an interim use permit, is to design and complete a site plan that complies with the maximum surface parking allowance of 100 spaces, which likely includes the construction of a building for some or all of the school buses. CPED's recommending approval of the interim use permit through January 7th, 2030, with the addition of the applicant's proposed landscaping and paving plan, that they complete that work that they've shown and are willing to do within the upcoming year. So I'm happy to answer questions you may have.
Thank you so much for that presentation. First, I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing and see if there's anyone who would like to speak. Hi, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Monica Ellis. I am managing partner of Ellis Properties. My family actually owned this property for over 20 years, and I was the property manager and leasing agent. Our family, we're a family-owned business, and we own 2 other buildings on that street, California Street, one right across the street to the east and one 2 doors down to the south. We also own a property on St. Anthony Parkway, which is about a block away, and then another one on 31st and Columbia Avenue. And all of these are multi-tenant buildings. They're all small business owners, entrepreneurs, artisans. We have one building has a brewery in it. Just a variety of businesses. And one of my main concerns is the potential impact, or what will the impact be regarding vehicles coming in and out of the property. And I'm just wondering if that's going to impact any of the other tenants in my other buildings, as, you know, it's pretty small street, and I'm just wondering with, you know, all these school buses coming and going, if that's going to cause any issues. That's my main question. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I will recognize Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair Osman. Can someone come up and try to answer the question from Ms. Ellis about the amount of vehicle traffic? And for this conditional use permit, did they have to do some kind of like travel demand management analysis, and what did that show?
Yes, Chair Osman and Councilmember Cashman, CPED did ask Public Works if a traffic demand management plan was required. The answer was no for a proposal of this size. Again, it's the current proposal is 70 buses. In the application, the applicant notes the driver would likely arrive early in the morning, and the bus would be out in the field until the evening, around 6 or 7 at night. So to summarize that, no TDMP was required, and there was not seen no TDMP was required.
Okay, but the information does say that all 70 buses would be used every day and would be coming and going in the morning and once at night.
And if the applicant wants to clarify anything that I'm about to say is correct, during the school season, school day, that would be a typical use of the vehicles.
Okay,
and
thanks.
buses.
Just want to make a comment that, and owner, feel free if you ever want to step in and answer any of the questions or that. I think that, there isn't always the way the city is zoned is like it's really hard to find a place where people can park buses or trucks. We had years ago truck parking issue here, but this is sounds like a perfect place for this kind of services. And I know that that the buses leave early, and then most of the time they, during the day they're out, they come back at night. Could you maybe speak about what is the service hours and when the most buses, I guess, leave, the time they leave and the time they come back?
Thank you, Chair Osman and council members. Thank you so much. My name is Tashira Tufa. I'm the owner of Metropolitan Transportation Network. We have 5 other sites across the Twin Cities area, from Minnetonka to Hopkins to Fridley to Columbia Heights. This is technically this site provides services to Minneapolis public schools only. We transport children who attend Minneapolis public schools simply because it's public school system. The children has been, the contractors have been coming from the suburbs, and then children has been late going to school, and then MTN has jumped in and resolving this issue for the past many years. We have been contracted with Minneapolis public schools. The service time, actually, this is only when schools are open. When schools are closed for whatever reason, the bus buses don't move, they stay there. Our first bus leaves the site at about 4:42 a.m. in the morning. And then the last bus leaves about between 6:45 and 7:02. And the buses won't come back until after the first bus coming back at about 4:45, and then the last bus about 8:15 at night. So we have 2 ways. The one way coming in, one way going out, and then it really did not find any problem so far, and it doesn't have any time that when the public is out at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we are out already.
Thank you so much for that. I think my comment was that's very hard to find a space where you can store those buses. So I support this, and I will make the motion to approve. And now I'll recognize Councilmember Allison.
Well, I was just going to make the motion if you didn't, but I'll just say thank you for your business, your success, and I really see this as an opportunity. You've got those drivers up pretty early, man. That's an early start. 4 in the morning there. But yeah, I think that it's great for us to have. When we talk about building our workforce, when we talk about supporting employers, when we talk about all those things, this is jobs and everything in the community, and so I think that's really important. Confer with your neighbor there. I've been encouraging that all day to make sure that there's a little bit of synchronicity and that folks feel like you're accessible to one another. But yes, excited to see the service here, and thank you for the work and doing business in the city.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See no one else speak. All those on that motion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. All right, finally, we have a public hearing for the City Planning Commission appointment. Ask Kimberly Holland from CBET to give us that presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair Osman and committee members. The public hearing in front of us is for 2 appointments to the City Planning Commission. The first is the reappointment of Chris Meyer, who is currently the chair or president of the Planning Commission. And the second is a new appointment. Michael Gordon is the new appointment. He is an architect who also has a background in behavioral and mental health, working with vulnerable populations, and will be a great addition to the Planning Commission. Unfortunately, neither one of them were able to be here for the public hearing today, but I'm happy to answer any questions. These are both 2-year appointments through 2026.
All right. Now I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing and see if there's anyone who would like to speak on this item. See none, I'll close the public hearing and recognize Councilmember Allison.
I'm happy to move approval of this. I don't have any questions for staff or for the applicants. I'll take your word for it. If it's a disaster, I know who to blame. I'm just kidding. But no, happy to move approval of this.
Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair. I was just looking up, the seat 5. The new member is Michael Gordon, and was this a regular cycle, as in the last person's term just came to an end, or did they resign? Kind of what happened with Bill, who's leaving the commission?
Yes, Councilmember Cashman, great question. So we had some shuffling around. Bill Baxley is actually going to become the mayor's designee on the Planning Commission. So he's also an architect. Very happy to have him back for another term. Alyssa Olson is currently the mayor's designee, and she will be stepping down in February. So Bill Baxley will move into that position, and then that created an opening. So this is a standard mayoral appointment for the seat that we're recommending Michael Gordon for.
All right, thank you. I'll second the motion. And I also want to thank Chris Meyer for his great leadership as the chair, and I'm really happy to see that he's coming back for another term on the Planning Commission.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. On that motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Next, we have a quasi-judicial hearing for a portion of our agenda. Item 9 through 14 are several variance appeal hearing related to the use of artificial turf at several properties near the University of Minnesota. The appellants have requested a delay for this item to our next regular meeting on January 21st at 1:30 p.m. City staff is also okay with this delay, so I will be moving to continue this on this date. Before I make that motion, however, I will first open to the public hearing and see if there's anyone who would like to speak on this item, from item 9 through 14. See none. I will prefer to speak. We'll continue the public hearing, I believe. The public hearing will stay open. Are there any question or discussion from council members on that motion to continue on January? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question, if there's anyone from staff here who's familiar with this case, because I believe we took this up last year. I believe that we denied the appeal at that time, so I'm wondering how it's before us again. Why?
Councilmember Osmond, or Chair Osmond and Councilmember Cashman, you are correct that a appeal of the zoning administrator's decision was heard by this body back in summer of last year. This is an appeal of the Board of Adjustments determination regarding a set of variance applications that were made following that determination of the zoning administrator's determination that this artificial turf constituted impervious surface and a permitted obstruction. The applicants then went to apply for variances for those obstructions and impervious surface overages. That decision was, or again, without kind of going into this discussion, we'll talk about it in the future, was denied at the Board of Adjustment. This is the appeal of that decision by that decision-making body.
Understood. Thank you.
Councilmember Allison?
Nope, that's, I'll save my comments.
All right. All right. On that motion to continue to January 21st, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion hearing will continue. Lastly, we have a hearing regarding on sale wine, no live entertainment with strong beer license revocation for Pimento Jamaican Kitchen due to outstanding taxes owed to the city of Minnesota. To the Minnesota State Department of Revenue. I'll ask City Attorney Joe Fessy for a brief presentation.
Thank you, Chair Osmond, committee members. I can speak to this matter very quickly and provide a quick update. As I think all the committee members are aware now, this category of license revocation used to be a little more rare, but it seems to be coming up a bit more often. Recently, it involves when a licensed establishment in Minneapolis has a delinquency owed to the state of Minnesota Department of Revenue. Our hands are tied at that point when we receive notification from the state, and we must revoke the license unless a tax clearance certificate is provided. A tax clearance certificate can be obtained by paying the delinquency or by entering into a satisfactory payment plan with the state. As with all of these matters, our business licensing staff has been in close contact with the licensee, and I've been made aware that the licensee fully anticipates obtaining a tax clearance certificate prior to the full city council meeting, and so it would be probably the best avenue for this committee to move the matter forward to the full council without recommendation, and hopefully that matter will be deleted from the agenda because a tax clearance certificate will be obtained in the interim. And beyond that, I don't believe the license holder is here, but certainly, Mr. Chair, you should call upon him and give him an opportunity to speak if he is here, and barring that, the motion can be made. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the owner here? I don't see him, but I'll recognize Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Chair. The owner is a constituent, so I'll just try to get in touch with him. It sounds like you are as well. And I'll motion to move this forward without recommendation to the full council and hope that we can resolve it before then to delete it from the agenda.
There's no public. All right. I'll recognize Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Osmond. I'm just curious, is it only impacting, I know this particular entrepreneur has multiple businesses throughout the city and I think the metro area. Is it only impacting the business at the park?
Through the chair and Councilmember Jenkins, I know that the notice that business licensing has received is individual to this location. I don't know what the status of his other locations might be and whether there are any issues with the revenue department regarding those, but we are operating solely on this location.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. With that motion to forward council without recommendation, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Seeing no further business before us with no objection, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.